This is a really random one. So I saw this post on Reddit. This is so random, but this kind of warmed my heart. It's not the kind of thing you'd normally see me talking about, but like, I just thought this was hilarious. Look at this post on Reddit. This has really blew my mind. Okay, look at this. Has anyone seen this before? This is on r/damn that's interesting. Biquette was a goat that was sold to an abattoir, and after she stopped producing milk, she was rescued by musicians and spent the remainder of her life watching grindcore bands. She could come and go from the venue, but chose to hang out and watch the bands. Now, the phrase GOAT, greatest of all time, gets thrown around a lot, especially in hip-hop circles. But this GOAT really is the GOAT. Look at this GOAT. I'm sure you're wondering why I'm talking about this, but I just saw this post, and it just really warmed my heart. And it's not hip-hop, but it had a musical connotation. Like, you got this goat. It's just chilling. That goat looks like they're having a good time. Like, they just look like one of the crowds. Like, you ever see animals and they think they're people? Like, I just think this was beautiful. It really made me laugh. So I just wanted to pop this up on the screen, man. Biquette the goat out here watching all the grindcore bands, man. Look, just chilling, taking it in. And you know what I love about this? People aren't really acting gas. Like, they're not all crowding around being all cute with the goat. That's just normal. The goat's just in there. Like, they're treating the goat as if they would any of their fellow brethren. You know what I'm saying? The goat's just chilling, doing its thing, bro. I just thought this was really, really heartwarming. Some of these comments were hilarious. Like, the goat, she looks into it. That's awesome. She definitely is. She would be off somewhere on the top of the Alps, if not, or the Amps. Mic cables are very tasty, with an extra tingle if you bite through them. I can confirm goats are awesome and incredibly good at getting into and out of things. They will eat anything too, including clocks, and I have first-hand experience. I now have second-hand experience, but the goat had minute-hand experience. Now that's hilarious. This guy says he used to live on a farm for a few months, and there was a roaming goat that had the knack of eating their socks. The weird thing is, they only ever ate one of the pair. The goats ate socks. The goats ate clocks. The goats ate the clocks and socks, standing on blocks. I just want more background. Like, I want to know, like, is there any footage of this? Is there actually... please tell me there's a full documentary. Oh, no. Guys, I got some really bad news. R.I.P., man. Biquette the goat, no longer with us. R.I.P., I didn't know it was dead. Bro, it's a sad ending. Goat is dead. Now, look, I don't want to get copyrighted or nothing. But, bro, Biquette the goat, man. Biquette the goat. Look at the goat. Killing the grindcore goat, man. There's something about this particular goat, just the demeanor of this goat, that's just chill.
Alright, the next song is from the split Bizzare Paul. This one's called Dog Shit Holocaust.
Like, I mean, look, I'm not trying to hear grindcore. This is barely music. People that want to front on me, like, oh, you listen to... People that want to front on me and they want to act mad that I listen to Youngboy. How do people listen to I think they should give the goat the mic. I think Biquette would actually spit some better bars. Jesus, it's not music, is it? But is this a real thing?
Image floating about online for the last 10 years. A goat seemingly enjoying the sounds of the more extreme side of heavy metal, specifically grindcore. What most of you probably felt when seeing this image is maybe a warm feeling inside because of how cute this goddamn goat is, perhaps a small nose exhale because of how ridiculous the image is. Not me. Questions immediately arose in my head. Do goats even enjoy music? Do they have the mental capacity and processing ability to understand music, let alone the ability to even hear it? Also, why is the goat even there? Did they just stick it there for the funny image? I had to get to the bottom of whether this goat was actually enjoying the music. Firstly, I began thinking of common attributes of metal fans and how they may coincide with that of a goat. When you think of the average fan of the more extreme subgenres of heavy metal, you probably think of somebody with poor hygiene, excess body hair, and a lack of understanding of basic social scenarios. That sounds like a goat to me, but that wasn't enough. I needed to understand the full story, so I began to do some research on the specific goat before I dug into the science that may explain why this goat was supposedly enjoying the music. So the goat in question is a French female named Biquette, and spent the first 5 years of her life at a milking factory. Although I don't know much about this specific milking factory, in general they seem pretty unethical, with the goats kind of just being forcefully milked with little enrichment in their life. Biquette, for unknown reasons, was sent to a small farm in France as it was cheaper than the slaughterhouse. This suggests a possibility that may link to her later enjoyment of heavy metal. It's likely Biquette was taken from her mother quite young, due to the first 5 years being spent at the factory. Oftentimes when dairy animals start producing less milk than they're worth, they get sent to the slaughterhouse. I also do believe that the factory may have not been the nicest place for the goats, as financial as opposed to ethical reasons were cited for the goat being sent to the farm. This suggests a darker backstory for Biquette, which may have shaped her taste for the heavier, more depraved side of music as an outlet. Obviously, I don't know all the facts, and I'm basically just chatting out my arse, but hey, where would the media be without sensationalisation? Biquette wouldn't end up on any old farm. This particular farm would often host concerts and festivals on the farm grounds, with much of the music being on the heavier side. This is when Biquette would begin to gravitate to the large crowds of people that turned up to the shows. Goats
I wouldn't say large. They weren't large crowds. Let's be real. That wasn't a young boy crowd. That was about 24 people, let's be real.
Really affectionate creatures, and although this is sometimes hard to rectify, scientists have measured facial expressions, posture, heartbeat patterns and hormone levels to deduce that goats not only show affection to other goats, but to humans as well. This originally led me to the idea that Biquette mainly enjoyed the company of the concert goers as opposed to the actual music. What adds to this theory is one of Biquette's main vices. She was a frequent tobacco user, and would consistently try and steal any remnants of tobacco she could find, including butts and even lit cigarettes that would be
No way, the goat was a smoker, that's crazy.
Smoked at the time of theft. She had a similar attitude towards alcohol and consistently drank the remnants of beer bottles, so it seems pretty obvious. Biquette enjoyed the large concert
sounds like the goat was smoking more cigs than young boy, the real goat.
Crowds who consistently brought alcohol and tobacco to the shows. Although this may be one of the reasons Biquette consistently hung around heavy metal bands, what threw me off the scent of this being the primary reason is the concert footage that features Biquette. She isn't snuffling around the pockets of Jeremiah at the back of the crowd, she is right at the front, often completely focused on the musicians. According to the owner, she was particularly fond of the French punk band Pasner Cardinal and would spend the entire set sat at the bassist's feet. Although punk tickled her hooves, it was grindcore that she seemed to really appreciate, oftentimes standing extremely close to the band members or lying directly next to the speakers. This suggests that she was a fan of the vibrations that were sent through the wooden floor. Grindcore often includes more low-end than typical punk, meaning more vibrations, which could explain why Biquette specifically enjoyed grindcore more than other genres. Obviously the most famous example is the Worm Rock concert, which is the show that skyrocketed Biquette to internet fandom. So right now we are aware that Biquette was attracted to these concerts for the human interaction, tobacco, alcohol and vibrations coming from the speakers. But that doesn't answer our question. Did she actually enjoy the music? Did she actually enjoy heavy metal? Well, through my research I was able to find out how complicated goats are in regards to their emotion and interaction. They were able to change accent.
Bro, I'm seeing pet goat 300 quid, 120 for two. I might cop a goat. I might cop a little goat for 2024. You know what I'm saying? Look at these goats, man. I might cop a little goat. Cop a little goat, you know. Should I cop a goat?
Depending on their mood and who they are interacting with. This research led me on to whether goats can actually listen to music and recognise it as such. In regards to their eardrums, it registers the exact same way for them as it does for us. However, the brain processes it all completely different. One study found that goats reacted differently to specific sounds based on what ear it was played into, suggesting a different way of processing depending on the ear. This may explain why Biquette often sat in a similar place near the speakers. Many of the studies and articles I found mostly looked at the behaviour of goats in relation to music as a
So they're saying that the goat liked the vibrations of the loud music. It wasn't the heavy metal, which admittedly was absolute trash. So you're telling me that if I buy a goat and I bump Young Boy as loud as I do on a regular basis, house arrest tings, this goat is going to be into it. Bro, I'm going to cop a goat.
Opposed to anything more concrete. Most goats will react the exact same when presented with music. They approach the source of the noise with curiosity, and at first will try and figure out whether the noise is a threat. Afterwards, they usually focus on it, and occasionally will have other reactions such as falling asleep depending on the music. One thing that was pretty clear in my research is that cows and goats hate loud and aggressive noises, with one study placing heavy metal as the most likely to cause alertness. This means by all accounts goats should absolutely despise grindcore, but obviously this can't be the case in all goats. Biquette displayed similar behaviours to what I explained earlier, and at the very least didn't react negatively to any of the loud noises. This may be explained by the fact that goats can have vastly different personalities to each other. This often presents itself through eagerness to explore or aggressiveness. One study found that goats that are more sociable perform worse on cognitive tests. Biquette obviously fits into the more sociable category, so maybe that explains why she was a fan of grindcore. It's a possibility that the positive reinforcement of social stimulation and tobacco led to Biquette enjoying the loud noises within heavier genres rather than being scared. Before we reach our conclusion, let's close off the Biquette story, and unfortunately, this one ends in tragedy. Biquette would die at the age of 10 due to unknown reasons. Her owner theorises that it's due to the farm drastically changing its layout and staff, causing stress and therefore death. I think a few other things may have contributed, but hey, at the end of the day, it's sad to see such a based goat leave this earth. So with all that pointless research, did Biquette the goat actually enjoy heavy metal? Although there's not much evidence...
We slide in for Biquette, man. Biquette world up in this bitch, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm fit to catch a body for Biquette. But I might cop a goat, man. Just a light 120 for a goat. I see people in the chat asking me, where am I going to keep a goat? Now, I don't care where I'm going to keep the goat. The goat's going to sleep in bed with me. Not like that. It's none of that funny business going on, all right? I'm going to be careful what I say. That's not what's going down, all right? But Biquette world, man. I might get a R.I.P. Biquette pendant made or some shit, bro. It's tragic. R.I.P. Biquette, man. The goat. Biquette the goat. The goat. The goat the goat. And that's that.